Hello everybody, I'm Jake Rousseau and this is the Law and Ethics Deep Neuron Podcast. Today we have our guest, Amr Hassan. That's correct? Right?
That's correct.
That's correct.
That's
If you could introduce to the guest, what is it that you do at Monash?
My name is Amr Hassan. I am Director of Emerging Technologies and Program Director for Project Maverick. I'm part of the Vice Chancellor Office and responsible at the moment to establish Maverick, which is Monash next AI supercomputer.
Yes, yeah. So for the viewers or listeners that aren't aware, Monash has recently announced that we're establishing a supercomputer. And what do you think the major benefits of this development are to Monash?
So we already have a supercomputer called Massive, and we actually had a supercomputing platform for years.
Yes.
Monash is one of the pioneers in this area, specifically in research and supporting researchers with high-end computing capabilities. The main challenge that face our researchers at the moment is the amount of processing power required for enabling AI, which is way exceed what we have at the moment. So the target of Project Maverick is to provide the capabilities required for our researcher in order to be not only participating in the new AI era of research, but also to be leading worldwide and enables them to improve their research capabilities and the research outcome.
Yeah. So strategically, it's a real, asymmetric advantage for Monash. It's something that a bunch of unis don't have that Monash is able to deploy.
Yes.
Yeah. And in terms of the research, what specific areas are you targeting?
So at the moment, I think the first two ones, which was identified by the Vice Chancellor as priorities, I'm not saying they are exclusive, but as a priorities. The first one of them is health, and second one is environment change and climate change impact.
So through that, you're going to avoid some of the negative things that AI could automate, but you're really going to be looking at things that the hot ticket issues, climate change being one of them. What do you think the impact of having this supercomputer will be on, being on research such as climate change or such as health? Where do you see it could have the greatest impact?
As I mentioned, these are kind of priorities rather than the exclusive areas where Maverick will be used. There is a lot of other research areas that Maverick will be contributing to as well, including even basic computer science and engineering as one of the fields. The impact of AI in research itself is kind of still ongoing, so it's growing capability at the moment, and every day you'll find a new field and someone using AI in a different way. So I don't think there is a specific areas where we can say that this is where the difference will be. But the common areas where AI can help significantly for the scientific field, including image analysis and image processing, video analysis, discovering patterns in data. There is a lot of researches in AI about how they can accelerate the diagnosis for something like cancer, how they can discover new materials, new proteins in order to help them to do drug design and drug discovery as well. There's also an area within AI where you are going to do effectively building a models that mimics the exact real life, even either in a city, something as big as a city, or you can do something as small as an organ. And this helped the scientific field in order to test hypotheses or test medication on this model before it actually goes to the real life. So it accelerates the loop or the process of discovery in this case.
Okay. In that process, right, at the end of it, you would still have humans checking it over before you kind of get to doing more research, right?
Absolutely. So Monash's position when it's come to our AI specifically is that we're not trying to replace the human in the loop. We are trying to empower the human in the loop. What we are trying to do in this case is to use AI to augment the capability of our researchers, make them more efficient, make them more faster, support them in order to do their work rather than replacing them. And that's very important because the ultimate responsibility for whatever the outcome of AI in this case, stay with a human, stay with the expert who's running this process, and it's not an autonomous process completely, at least at the moment, because we don't believe that AI has been powerful enough or capable enough to be able to replace a human completely in most of the cases.
And in terms of, developing this capability, what partnerships have led you to this? I think I noticed Dell was one of them.
In order to establish something like this, which is a huge capability, you need to have multiple technology partners in order to enable Monash to deliver this. So the first one of them is CDC, which is our data center provider, and they will provide the hosting space where we're going to put Maverick. And this requires to be a specialized hosting place capable to host something with such amount of power usage. Second partner is Dell, which is going to provide the hardware and software capabilities to enable Maverick. And Dell as well work as a reseller for NVIDIA, which is the main provider for the GPU units, which will be used as a main computational backbone for Maverick.
But with NVIDIA, have you had any contact with people inside of NVIDIA?
I've been working very closely with NVIDIA in terms of the design of the infrastructure itself and in terms of how we are developing our software stack for Maverick, which will be unique for Monash. So we needed to deliver a capability that's suited for an educational and research institution rather than just a public cloud or private cloud provider, what we call neo cloud providers as a new name for them.
Yeah.
So we needed to do customization on the software stack available just out of the box from NVIDIA in order to make it work for Monash, and I've been working very closely with them for this design.
What do you think in terms of NVIDIA's like efficiency as an organisation? Obviously, the stock price is going up, like that. In terms of what you've observed, do you see anything specifically that they do in this field that I guess influences that?
NVIDIA is unique as a company because it not only delivers the hardware, but it also delivers the hardware and the software stack required in order to operate this GPU. So one of the main unique features of NVIDIA is the integration between the GPU hardware they are delivering and the development tools they have, which is called CUDA, and also the libraries built above CUDA in order to accelerate the research, so you don't really need to start from scratch.
Yeah.
And that's a unique feature available with NVIDIA as an ecosystem if you go into it. But if you look into the current market, you're talking, I think, NVIDIA approximately over 90% of the accelerators market, both for high-performance computing and AI at this time. And this just doesn't come by chance. This has come because the hardware is designed to enable this. And some people actually look into the recent revolution of AI and attribute the existence of this revolution to the existence of GPUs, and the NVIDIA GPUs are one of the main elements to move it forward. As a company, they have been unique in terms of dealing with. They are very, very researcher focused. So even when you go to them and talk to the people there, they care about what we are trying to do. They are trying to help as much as they can. And although, as you mentioned, they are really, really big as a company, you don't deal as the usual enterprise. You can actually go, when we were visiting NVIDIA in March this year, just can go and sit down with their product team directly and talk about what you are doing, what the problem you are facing, and they will help and they will listen, which was great.
So it seems like, I guess, there's a real good combination between public and private, all working towards, I suppose, a common good.
Yes, and NVIDIA has been publicly talking about how much they care about research, and research has been a main contributing factor for the success you are seeing at the moment. If the researchers didn't start using a standard GPUs, which previously was only used for games, to turn it into an equipment that can be used for research, you wouldn't see NVIDIA that we have today. So it's a two-way relationship.
So there's almost like a cascading effect to these types of things.
Yeah.
Like you might start developing GPUs for games, and you might think at the start that's just useless, but in reality, like, it has so many practical applications that we can't, conceive of yet.
And that's literally what happened. So they started mainly to be just a graphics system, mainly to accelerate games, which was a big industry by itself.
Yeah.
And it was the fuel mainly to push the money into the industry itself in order to accelerate the development and help us develop better equipment. But after this equipment became useful for research. And then we started using this investment in order to accelerate research. And then after this, it started to be a product only available for research out of NVIDIA, in addition to the standard platform that's available for games.
Yeah. Procuring these partnerships with CDC, Dell, and NVIDIA, what was the way you guys went about this? Did you go to them, or did they go to you?
Monash is a public entity, as you know. So we have specific rules when we come to do procurement. We had to follow it. So when we started the project earlier this year, the first part was effectively go to market. Yeah. So how we are going to go, put detailed requirements for what we want to do, and go to market and asking the vendor in order to make submissions to this tender. And then based on this, we do evaluation. This took approximately, talking about 5 to 6 months.
Wow.
to select the best vendor for Monash based on these criteria. There is what we call technical evaluation panel, and there is processes to ensure kind of checks and balances to ensure that we are doing the right things, and to ensure that that we are doing the best property for Monash, best value for money, to ensure that we are not wasting the university money effectively, and we are investing it in the right way. And then after this, you select a vendor based on the criteria you put at the beginning, and the outcome of this, we're selecting both CDC as our data center provider and Dell as our technology partner to deliver this.
Yeah. And was that an extensively legal process? Was there a lot of lawyers looking over that? You'd say, or was it mostly technical?
It does have both sides. So it does work hand in hand with what we call the commercial team. The capability itself, we have to follow a specific rules, as you can expect. When you are doing a process like this, is specific format, submit things in a specific way. Yeah. But then after this, even when you select a vendor, you have to go and sign a contract with them, which include a lot of legal work between both sides, between Monash and the vendor. And in this case, agreeing on a contract and then proceed. Yeah,
I suppose you head up the technical side of things, but you also oversee the commercial as well.
We work very closely with different areas from the university in order to make this happen. So we work with our strategic procurement team. We work with commercial team within eSolution, which is responsible for when you're going to procure something. And we work as well with University Office of the General Counsel when it comes to legal related things and contract related things. So it's a teamwork. We work together as a team in order to achieve the target for Monash at the end.
Do you think like a lot of junior roles will be challenged by AI, or do you think rather that it'll continue to grow and the economy will get better, etc.? I suppose at least with Maverick, there's a lot more commercial activity that occurs just through the nature of this development.
I think it will be used to reduce the number of people filling a specific roles. Yeah. That's my opinion. I don't think that's a Monash opinion, but that's my personal opinion. Yeah. Based on what I'm seeing at the moment is that, for example, rather than you need 10 engineer software developer, you might need 3. It's not going to eliminate completely the job, at least for now, until things improve more. But it will reduce the need for these people. Because you still need, most of the cases, in my opinion, you still need a human to be able to do assessment if this output or this outcome is useful, fit for purpose or not. So I don't think it will eliminate them completely. There is a lot of analogy coming here, a lot of people talking about when they first invented machines and the replacement of the handy work with machines, and what does this really look like, and the anxiety of the community at this time, and they are mimicking it and saying, well, that's actually similar to what we are happening right now. To what levels that's true, it's still to be seen. Is it going to be the same as we are today? No, it is not. To what level it's going to be different? That depends on a lot of things. It depends about, are we actually in a hype of AI at the moment? Because there's some people saying, well, actually, this is a top that AI will get, and you're not going to improve anymore. I don't believe that's true, but if that's true, the answer for your question will change. But if AI continue to progress the way we are seeing it, what we are seeing at the moment is the outcome of developing AI for 3 years. So in 3 years, we reach to here. How it will look like in the next 5 to 10 years is still to be seen. People ignore the basics a lot. So for example, there is a lot of people who are just saying, okay, I don't need to go to the university education. I need to be a developer, so I'm going to get this course or teach myself and go and do this. They will be a good developers, but they will never be a good computer scientist because they didn't study the basics. And when what they learn change, their position will be at risk. So if your programming language changed, what you're trying to do will be challenged. But if you learn the basics of computer science, the basic automata, computer theory, all this kind of stuff, it doesn't matter what programming language is going to be. It doesn't matter if AI will come, because you will be able to catch, the basics, how you can actually build on it. So that's really important. So if you hear some of the famous people, like CEO of NVIDIA, CEO of Microsoft, when you talk about if you're advising your kid what they should study, and they're telling you math and physics, and there's some people laughing of it, but that's a reality. You should actually know the basics of what the things look like for your field. So when your field evolve, you can evolve with it. Don't expect it to find a complete LLM that will be a lawyer. But at the same time, it can help a lawyer. So if you don't know the basics of being the basic principle of being a lawyer, and you can evolve and adapt and use this tool in order to be a better lawyer, you will suffer in this whole ecosystem when it starts. But if you know this, you can evolve, you can adapt, you can move forward.
Yeah. So I suppose it goes back again to the like unforeseen cascading consequences, right? Like you don't necessarily know what's going to happen. You still need to, know the basics, and you still need to actually try to develop a skill set and be a productive person.
Based on what I'm seeing in front of me,
Yeah.
I might be right, I might be wrong. Most of the people are echoing the same thing. People will be anxious. I'm not for a second underestimating that this is a difficult time for some people. There's a lot of people losing their jobs in some of the fields. I'm not for a second just underestimating how this is impacting them. But at the same time, it's happening.
Yeah.
You have two choices in front of you. You either be part of it and try to shape it, or just leave it happen to you.
Yeah. You don't necessarily have to have an answer, because I think the answer is that there is no answer, right? And I suppose the best thing to do from there is to just go about it in the most, responsible and efficient way possible, and then also obviously try to actually develop yourself on the individual level, trying to still have aspiration and goals, etc.
And still trying to defend as well that it need to be used ethical, there need to be legal protection for people, legal protection for their data, legal protection for how the system is used. There need to be accountability for the decision being made. All of this kind of stuff, I think our community and as a country need to discover by where we stand.
So with Australia's approach, I guess there's a few areas we could look at. We could look at, the United States' approach, which I suppose is just to have massive funding for things like, NVIDIA and for things like OpenAI. Or we could do maybe, the European approach, where they have this big act and, they've got a lot of mandating and they're regulating it first. What do you think would be the most effective and I guess most ethical way for Australia to go about? Should we regulate first? Should we build first? Or maybe a combination of both?
The problem is that things are moving very fast. You
Yes.
can't just tell them, just wait a minute, come back to you.
Yeah.
And even if you decided, okay, I will ignore what's going on in the US at the moment and I will do my own stuff, I don't think that's really a strategic or good approach.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, things are moving and you either have to move with them and adapt, or, but you can't just ignore it. The main issue, I think there is two, probably three opinions at the moment. The first opinion in within the community is saying, okay, we don't need to do anything. Just sit down, relax, US will do this everything, and we just use it when it's ready, and no one have to put $1 into this. I think that's really, really dangerous. Because if you do so, our people will not be trained, things will be shaped for you, and you just use it as it is. You are a consumer, and whatever comes to you, just use it as it is, and that's really, really dangerous.
Yeah.
The other way around, you find people saying, okay, we need to build our own LLM models, we have to put a significant amount of investment and build our own things. I don't necessarily agree that this is the best way we can invest in terms of the capacity we have for investment as well. Because in this case, in some situations, you are kind of reinventing the wheel.
Yeah.
They're putting some examples for other countries, like Sweden, where they develop their own model, which is like, well, fine, but they have a different language, and they have a different way of doing things. You don't really need to do this at the moment, unless you are building a specialized model. But building a general purpose large language model, I question what is this really necessary? Maybe it is, but what will differentiate you from another models? For example, if you saw earlier this year when DeepSeek came out from China as a general purpose model, it came out with innovation in terms of software, innovation in terms of using hardware. So if we are going to do the same thing, yes, most welcome, we can do this. The one in the middle between both of them is saying that we need to be very strategic in our investment. Where are we putting our money? Because we don't have a lot of it.
Yeah.
So we have to be very strategic about what we are actually developing. Should we develop stuff, specialized models for the purposes we want to deliver in this case? Should we make specialized models for medicine? Should we make a specialized model for law from our perspective? Should we make a specialized model for this area only? And I think where this is the most return of investment will be for Australia, if I'm proceeding in this case, it's a balance between both of them. You will get the know-how, you know how to do stuff, but you're not reinventing the wheel again because you don't have a lot of investment available to reinvent the wheel yourself.
So it's interesting. It's almost AI's a vehicle for our own sovereignty, because that could be the future of geopolitical competition.
Absolutely. So do we need to have a sovereign AI? Absolutely. Most of the countries agree on this, and we're looking at it from the perspective of that, how important it is for us to have a role in shaping what this technology will do for us and how it's going to be used in our community. I think that's essential. That's not optional.
Yeah.
But what shape this will take, what kind of investment this will like, that's still up for debate, and we can talk about what's the best way to move forward in this case.
I mean, I suppose a good historical example is Taiwan with TSMC. Like the development of that company, you know, has, I mean, given them a massive geopolitical advantage, something that, you know, kind of assures them US support. I don't know, very great for them. And, you know, if we can develop, I guess, a similar capacity of AI, I mean, that could only be in our favour.
If we can develop something better than DeepSeek, better than ChatGPT, absolutely, we should do it. But that developing a new general purpose model for the sake of developing a general purpose model, I don't think it's worth it.
So it's going to need to be more specialised to specific
areas. Or a better model than whatever available.
In terms of those specific areas, we've identified climate change, we've identified health. Is there any other areas you think might be of use?
A lot. There is drug discovery, there are digital twins I want to talk to you about building models that can actually mimic real life situations or organs or something like this. There are research in computer science itself as well, which is really important about developing models and testing it. There are economics, there is stuff related to discovering patterns in data. There are so many examples.
More towards you as an individual, you know, we talked about global trends and, you know, importance of AI generally, etc. But how did you yourself get into this position?
I have been in scientific computing almost all my life. So this is, believe it or not, kind of not new to me. I kind of started involved with even building AI models when I was in the university. Very, very long time ago. But at this time, it was really different. Yes. At this time, we had a very limited computational capacity. If you are trying to do, when we were doing our assignments or things like this, you're trying to do optical character recognition for numbers written in a very small images, what you can do. We didn't have GPUs. We didn't have enough data. All of this changed over time. The algorithm itself, if you look into it, it changes just a little bit. It didn't change much. But the main thing that changed between now and then is the availability of data and available computational power. So my field of expertise was high-performance computing when I was doing my PhD, specifically distributed GPUs. Yes. That very well aligned with building a high-performance computing system. But when we started looking into this, so I've been working on high-performance computing for quite some time. But when we started looking into it earlier this year, okay, we want to build Maverick. What does this really look like? Is it a standard high-performance computing or something different? You find that like over the last 2 years, the standard of building high-performance computing for AI changed a lot. There are so many changes in the architecture. We are building things, the software stack over just the last 2 or 3 years, just because of AI exists. And this kind of changed the game. So again, if you go back to the principles, when you know the principle of how you build a high-performance computing system, it's very easy for you to adapt and learn how to build an AI system and start building it.
It's like, you know, almost starting off with one good decision, learning one good fundamental skill can have so many, you know, unpredictable. I'm sure when you were 18, you wouldn't have predicted you'd be in Monash, you know, talking to me.
No, at all. The most important thing is you need to do what you love. I always loved what I'm doing. I have been doing it the same thing for my career till now. So I always loved working in IT. I always loved working in the intersection between science and IT, which is called e-research. This has been always my field. I do love it. I do enjoy it. And I think when you do so and start diving into it, it makes your life much easier to adapt.
I suppose you have, you know, the benefit of loving something that also has, you know, immense practical utility to the world. What would you say to people that, you know, might necessarily have passions in other areas that aren't as, I don't know, economically or practically viable? How can they, I don't know, form a good career while still harnessing their passion?
I never thought about this before. I'm not sure, to be honest, Zach. It's like, I don't think I have an answer for you on this one. I never questioned, well, I did what I love. I do encourage people to do what they love in this case. But what the economic impact of this will look like, it changed over time.
Well, I mean, it's a very hard question to answer, but it's just interesting, I don't know, getting different perspectives, especially someone that's trying to, I don't know, figure things out myself. And also, I think what you started out university in Egypt, correct?
That's correct.
Yes. So I guess what's it like, I don't know, having been educated across so many different countries and I guess just experiencing, you know, you experienced completely different cultures, you know, Australia to Egypt to, I don't know where else you've been, but, you know, obviously.
I've only been in Australia and Egypt.
Okay, well, yeah, but
It's much easier in this case.
there's only two then, I guess. But, still two very distinct cultures with so many different things going on. I guess, what has it been like experiencing that?
I was very lucky,
Yeah.
I can say. So when I joined the equivalent of FIT here, which is, I was a third, I don't know how to say it in English, but it was a third year only. So it was just started for 3 years. I had the luxury to have some of the best lecturers and people who really care about us. The education I had then was really amazing. I don't think there is a lot of differences between what I saw here in Australia in terms of education and what I had there. Of course, the capability is different.
Yeah.
And the resources available for you as a student is different.
People live a much more dynamic life now. I suppose thanks to innovation, and as you were touching on with, like the idea of you're going to have one career was kind of a set, like old mentality, right? And now that has to conflict with the new reality we're in. I suppose AI might even further that more. Yeah.
It did accelerate this significantly, I think, for a lot of people. And I do understand that many people coming to the university are asking themselves now, what should I do? It's not an easy decision, I appreciate.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult one, but I think, at least from your perspective, right, and from your life, the development of society, the development of technology has undoubtedly been a positive impact on your life, and it's afforded you so many opportunities, at least it seems.
Absolutely, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes.
Yeah. If you could imagine yourself as like a young student again, what would you say to them? What would be your word of advice?
I wouldn't change a thing. I'll probably select the same field as I studied before.
Yeah.
I would choose IT, I would choose scientific computing. I don't think I would change anything from my previous decisions. I understand now based on your previous questions that that's not what everyone else like. I completely understand, I appreciate this. But I think for now, choose what you like. Choose what you think you will be enjoying. Your life will be a lot different when you are working in a field that you like rather than just working in a field just to get money.
Yeah.
If you have a choice to do so, do it.
Take it. Yeah. Yeah.
Until things change and we know better about what's going to happen.
Yeah. In terms of, do you think AI will create like a better world? And, do you think that this will actually lead to, a more just society? Are you optimistic on that or pessimistic?
I think I'm optimistic. It's a double-edged sword. So you can use it for the advantage of humanity. You can use it against it. AI is used for fake images, used for fake videos. It's used to cyber attack. At the same time, it's used to detect these fake images, and it's used to detect the cyber attack. It's used for better of humanity in terms of drug discovery, in terms of early detection of cancer. So it can be used both ways. I think it's depending on us as humans about how we are going to use it. That's what makes the difference. And that's why I think it's very important for us to have a seat on the table, to be able to form how it's going to impact us rather than let it happen to us.
I guess in some ways it reproduces what society already is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And when you see, for example, specifically when AI started at the beginning, I'm talking about bias, I'm talking about racism and all that kind of stuff. It's just a reflection of the data that has been trained with. If you look into the internet, it's full of this. It just replicates what we have. Of course, you have to put controls after this in order to ensure that it's acting the right way. But as you mentioned, it is a reflection of what humanity look like, and that's why we need to put controls, and that will need to be purposeful in how we're building it.
I suppose if it just replicates what society already is, then, the importance of things like Maverick, where Australia gets to say what the new society should look like that we replicate AI off, is, very important.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I think having a seat on the table, which is like being able to be part of shaping what does Australia look like, is essential.
I think that's been a recurrent theme throughout this interview, and I thank you so much for your time. It's been great to hear your perspective.
Thanks a lot for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.